Destiny, and today we're going to be showcasing Cyrene alongside Mydei. Before we get into today's video, I would love to know if you are pulling for any of the banners in version 3.7 or potentially skipping and saving for future banners. Lastly, if you enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe to see more Star Rail content from me. Leave a like to support today's video, and now let's get straight into it. For today's showcase, we're going to be using Mydei, Tribi, Hyacine, and then lastly Cyrene. With Hyacine here, what we are going to do is start off by using her skill. There we are, and now we are going to use Cyrene's skill, and now we'll use Hyacine's ultimate. The reason I waited is so that we can get some more points of recollection for Cyrene, as Cyrene's turn did just end, so we'll be able to take advantage of that. And now we are going to get attacked a bit, but this is perfectly fine as this will allow Mydei to enter the Vendetta state. With Hyacine, we could just basic attack, a little eco will come in. And now with Cyrene, we will use her skill, get some more stacks of recollection. With Tribi here, we are going to use her ultimate. And now we will also just basic attack as well. The more damage we take in this team, the better, as this will lead to Mydei being able to unleash more instances of Godslayer Be God. Now with Mydei, what we're going to do is use his ultimate. We are really close to getting another Godslayer Be God, which is awesome. Now with Hyacine, we could just skill. With Hyacine, we can use her ultimate. There we go, because when we use Cyrene's ultimate, we're gonna get everyone's ultimate back. So we can skill now, and we are of course on the last turn here, but this is a-okay. Now we have Cyrene's ultimate, which this ultimate just looks so freaking cool. Now we can use her buff here on Mydei. Now Tribi's gonna come with the follow-up. With Mydei here, we will use his ultimate, and now we'll be able to take advantage of Godslayer Be God twice in a row. Boom! And wha-bam! Cyrene's special effect for Mydei is that he'll be able to immediately unleash an instance of Godslayer Be God without consuming any charge. So now with Hyacine, we can just basic attack. This will allow Mydei to unleash Godslayer Be God very frequently, and also this instance of Godslayer Be God will also be buffed as well. So we have enough stacks right now, and to use Cyrene's ultimate after her initial ultimate, you'll only need 12 stacks. So now we're going to be able to unleash 2 instances of Godslayer Be God back to back. We can use Cyrene's ultimate again. There we go. And now another Godslayer Be God. Boom! And it just results in so much damage being dealt by Mydei here. We can basic attack. With Hyacine, we can just use her skill. Little Ika is going to come in and attack. With Cyrene, we could just attack with her as well. We should be able to unleash another instance of Godslayer Be God. There we go. Now we can use Mydei's ultimate right here. And boom! Now Mydei is going to attack. And with Hyacine here, I'll just use her ultimate. We will be able to use another instance of Godslayer Be God very soon, and we can just use Hyacine's skill. Little Ika is gonna come in, boom! Now with Tribi, we're going to use the ultimate, and we're gonna try to see if we can actually beat Flame Reaver here. There we go, and there we go. So now we're on to the second phase. I actually used Cyrene's ultimate a little too early here. I should have waited until Flame Reaver summoned his little friends, but it's okay. We'll just keep it going. Now the Turbulence will come in. With Tribi, we can basic attack. With Tribi, I actually should have skilled there. I just realized I didn't have any skill points. Okay, that was my bad, but when we used Dance 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 with Tribi, somehow Tribi went in front of Hyacine, even though Hyacine was initially in front of Tribi. But it's fine. I think we can still get the 1 cycle here, even without Tribi's skill buff. I hope so anyway. But let's just see what happens. Okay. So obviously our damage isn't going to be as great because we don't have Tribi's full buffs right now. We still have, of course, her ultimate zone, but we don't have the skill buff. But we should be able to get the skill buff back in a moment here, as we're about to get Tribi's ultimate, which means we can now take advantage of Dance Dance Dance, and that means we can reapply Tribi's skill buff in a moment here. Alrighty. Now a Chibi skill, and we have just enough points here. Cyrene has 10 points of recollection, and now with Hyacine, we could just basic attack. Little Eco will also come in and attack, and then we'll be able to get 12 points of recollection, which means Mydei will be able to take advantage of Godslayer Be God again. So it's Hyacine, basic attack, Little Eco comes in. Now we give the buff once again to Mydei, and there should be enough here to get the 1 cycle clear. And boom! And this is also accounting for the fact that I messed up with Chibi's buff as well, and sometimes use Cyrene's ultimate a little bit too early. Alrighty, so we can check out the builds for today's video now, and here is Mydei. And we have a just enough crit rate so that he is able to have 100% within battle. And then here are the rest of his stats. For his light cone, we do have his signature light cone, but here are some alternative options that you can consider. For his traces, they're maxed out. For his relics, we are using Bone Collection and then Scholar Lost and Erudition. And lastly, for his Eidolons, he is completely E0. I have not activated any of these, as you all can see. Now we can take a look at Chibi. Here she is. It would be ideal if we had a bit more crit rate, but it is okay. We are just using Dance 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 on Chibi. If you do have her signature light cone, you can use that as well. But I did want to take advantage of Dance 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 for today. For her traces, they are maxed out. For her relics, we're using Bone Collection and then Poet of Morning Collapse. And then for her Eidolons, she's completely E0. I've not activated any of these, as you all can see. Now we have Hyacine. Here she is. We're mainly focusing on her speed, of course, and for her light cone, she does have her signature, but you can also consider alternative options. For her traces, are maxed out. For her relics, we're using Giant Tree and then Warrior Goddess of Sun and Thunder. And then for her Eidolons, she's completely E0. I've not activated any of these, as you all can see. And then lastly, we have Cyrene. So here she is. For Cyrene, we are using Memory Curtain Never Falls, which is a completely free-to-play option, and this will be able to grant her more speed, which for Cyrene in particular, you will want to build a lot of speed for her. And of course, here are some alternative options you can consider. Her signature will be a very powerful option for her. But of course, if you do not plan to pull her signature, you can consider a light cone like Memory Curtain Never Falls, which is completely free and from the Herda shop. And also, I did want to test out Cyrene primarily with this light cone right here, just to see how good she is at E0 S0. As we can all see, I do not have any of Cyrene's Eidolons activated, as I did want to try her once again with just E0 S0, just to see her buffing capabilities, as well as also seeing just how quickly she can get her ultimate in multiple teams. As for her traces though, they are maxed out, and as for her relics, we are using the Amphoreus, the Eternal Land planar set, which is a new planar set coming in version 3.7 alongside Cyrene's release. This planar set will increase the wearer's crit rate by 8%, and then when the wearer's memo sprays on field, increases all ally speed by 8% as well. And this effect cannot stack, and when it comes to the World Remaking Deliverer set, you can use this, which will increase her crit rate further, and then also be able to give some buffs as well, as we all can see. Now, of course, for getting a lot of speed for Cyrene, you can also consider going two-piece speed sets. If you do not have that many speed substats, that can definitely be an option to assist with getting higher speed on Cyrene, as you will want to go for 180 or above. If we take a look at Cyrene's trace right here, it mentions how when her speed is at 180 or higher, she will increase all allies damage dealt by 20%. Then for each point of speed exceeded, Cyrene's Ice Res Pen will increase by 2%, counting up to a maximum of 60 exceeded speed points. So in this general goal for this trace, I would recommend going for 180 or above. For a Cyrene for today, we have 200 plus speed, but of course I would just try aiming once again for that 180 goal. And if you can go higher, that's great. This light cone right here will be able to assist with giving us more speed, and then if you do decide to go for two-piece speed, that'll help as well. Plus the Amphoreus, the Eternal Land planar set, will also be able to give some speed as well. And now when it comes to the buff that she provides Mydei, here we have all of the Chrysos Heirs. I absolutely love how they designed this right here, but let's take a look at Mydei. He is going to have a one-time effect, and when used on Mydei, it'll remove all crowd control debuffs inflicted on him, and if Mydei's in the Vendetta state, which you will get into the Vendetta state extremely extremely quick into a battle. He'll automatically use one instance of Godslayer Be God without consuming charge. Mydei's crit damage will increase by 200% for this attack, and if the target gets defeated before the use, then it'll target the newly arrived enemy targets instead. If Mydei is not in the Vendetta state though, it'll advance his action forward by 100%. So the reason why this is just so good for Mydei is the fact that you're going to be able to unleash Godslayer Be God far more frequently with the help of Cyrene, and then of course, after using her initial ultimate, which her initial ultimate will cost 24 points of recollection, but then after the initial ultimate where you only need 12 points of recollection, you'll be able to get this ultimate way faster than the first one, which results on you being able to use her ultimate at that point more frequently, resulting in Mydei being able to take advantage of more and more instances of Godslayer Be God, which will contribute nicely to the amount of damage that he's inflicting onto enemies. So overall, I really like the buff that Cyrene provides for Mydei. I do think that Cyrene is a very nice pair for Mydei. Hyacine here is assisting with getting us more points of recollection. Hyacine will be a very valuable team member on a lot of teams when it comes to getting more points of recollection for you to use that initial Cyrene ultimate, and then even past that, Hyacine here will still be useful for assisting with getting those ultimates afterward as well. Now of course, on some other teams you can also consider using a character like Dan Heng. In the case of Mydei, Mydei is an HP scaling damage dealer, so Hyacine fits very nicely here, plus Hyacine is also a healer. And in the case of Dan Heng, which I will be using Dan Heng in showcases as well, but Dan Heng can be really nice alongside a character like a Naxa for instance, so that is also something to keep in mind of. But overall, Hyacine is an excellent option alongside Cyrene just because of how much she'll assist with getting more points of recollection to have an easier time charging Cyrene's initial ultimate, especially if you are trying to charge that ultimate within the 0 cycle. And as for Mydei, he did very well. When it comes to Tribi, if you do not have Tribi or you want to use Tribi on a different team, you can consider using a character like Remembrance Trailblazer in this slot. They'll be able to give very nice results as well, and Remembrance Trailblazer is also of course a completely free-to-play option. But yeah, that'll be it for me today. I had a lot of fun doing today's showcase. I would love to know once again if you are excited for any of the 3.7 banners. We're getting so many reruns, so I'd love to know if there's any character you are likely going to be pulling for, or if you're potentially just going to skip all of the banners and wait for future banners instead. And this idol animation is so pretty. I absolutely love her animation so much. But yeah, that'll be all from me. I hope you all did enjoy today's video, and if you did, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support today's video, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye.